do you realize what it takes to be that? And he said, what? I said, this right here, what you're about to go through. I was like, I've never been through it. Your mom's never been through it. Your sister's never been through it. You're about to go through it. And you're going to have a testimony. And you're going to be that testimony. We're going to go watch you. And we're going to learn some things from you. But it's also going to be your story whenever you have that first speaking event. Whether it's one person, two people, 50, 100, 1,000. I said, your story's going to go like this. When I was 12 years old, I was on a soccer field.
This is the Elevation Room, a space where we unpack life's hardest moments and the impact that they have on our faith, family, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Dustin, and each episode we share real stories of resilience and breakthrough to inspire you to keep moving forward, rooted in your purpose, living on purpose, and walking with purpose. This journey we call life is not meant to be done alone. So click subscribe or the follow button now, settle in, and join us as we go into the Elevation Room. Welcome back to the Elevation Room. We were just talking, Justin and I. This has been a while in the making, 7 months, but
7 months.
All in God's timing. So, Justin, man, without further ado, could you tell the audience, who you are, what you got going on, man?
Yeah, well, Justin Hebert, I'm a registered dietitian, born and raised in Lafayette Parish, so Carencro, Louisiana. Have a wife and 2 kids. My son is just turned 13 on the 13th. He had his golden birthday.
Come on.
And then my daughter will be 9 in April. And yeah, we moved out to Broussard about 8 years ago.
Okay.
We're still there, so we're part of the Sacred Heart family out in Broussard, and we love what the community and fellowship there. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also in oil and gas with Southern Tool Inspection in Broussard is our headquarters. Great Christian company doing some great things out there in the oil and gas world. Just having fun, man.
Yeah.
Meeting a lot of great people, just like yourself. You spoke about Dustin Bertrand earlier. But man, these are all treasures, that just open your eyes and open your mouth and your heart to receive these people that cross your path.
Yeah,
and I think
awesome.
this is evident in where we are right now today.
Yeah, I agree. This has been one of the most enjoyable parts about doing the podcast is, reaching out to people like you and you introducing me to someone like a Dustin Bertrand and, connecting, meeting people, building relationships. I mean, I think that's what it's all about in a lot of ways. It's all good fun.
It's community, man. It's we all play our part. However small you might think it might be, it's all part of the fruit of the community and the connections and again the fellowship and the support. We need it all. We can't do it alone.
Yeah, for sure. Now I know I mentioned to you earlier on LinkedIn. You've been sharing more about your faith. Obviously, being in the oil and gas and business development, you're out meeting people, making connections, but you also do the nutrition stuff, which is a passion of yours, undoubtedly. Right, people can look at you and say, "Hey, this man takes care of himself." I'd love for you to share, if you don't mind, just some of the things that drive you in that, how you got into fitness, into relationships. Because I know one of the stories we're going to go into is kind of leading your family through a difficult situation that went through. But before we get there, I'd love to know where that passion came from first.
Oh man, I guess it came from high school. Obviously played sports and then got into high school and lifting weights and doing the right things, trying to keep up with the bigger guys, stronger guys. I wasn't necessarily the biggest guy, but I wanted to be as strong as so all my guys, you know who you are at Carencro High, but I got to work out with some of the best defensive linemen and linebackers, and I was a place kicker.
Okay,
even though I was kicking a ball, I wanted to still
look like a linebacker.
Well, I still wanted to be able to be athletically ready to do anything. So that's kind of where it went, and I continued to do that. I played a year out at Northwestern State University, moved back home, and then I fell into a trap of not having structure with regards to fitness or eating protocols or nutrition. So I found a little bit of Budweiser and burgers and not doing the right things, but started gaining some weight. And it was actually my dad that pointed out to me one day. I went to take a license.
Okay.
A new license.
Oh yeah, driver's license picture.
I was clean shaven, and my dad's gonna laugh at this one, but he when I brought it back, I showed him my license. He said, "Man," he said, "it looks like you have a little pie face going on right there." And but it was true. I was gaining weight, so I was like, "Man, I need to do something about this." So I started working out again on my own, and I never looked back. I remember there was a gentleman in Carencro. It was called the Gym.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Carencro,
So we lived off of East Butcher Switch in a little neighborhood right there.
Yeah. So I was out there, and they had an older gentleman in great shape, and I was like, "Man, how do you do it?" He was in his 60s, and he said, "Never stop. Like, you on this train, never ever take your foot off the gas." And that just stuck with me. And yes, I mean, you have moments where things are going to get in the way, whether it's sickness, things you can't help. But if you can help it, don't ever let it go. And that's just something that's been embedded with me and that I brought with me along the way. And of course, it was like, what was next? I knew how to work out now. I knew how to do things, but like, how are we going to do this nutritionally? So I moved to Houston. I was actually doing some personal training and inside-outside sales for 24-hour fitness.
Oh yeah,
And
well, our journeys are very parallel because spent a lot of time at the gym. Went to Houston. 24-hour fitnesses are all over the place. Went there, did a PT session one time, ended up puking all over the place. But because I had just eaten burgers right before, mindset was still when I wrestled at Lafayette High School. So I could eat whatever, go out, and it was fine. When you take a couple years off, not the same. Not the same. So that's so funny.
No, it is. So I was in there, doing all those things, and we had a corporate dietitian for 24-hour fitness. She would come in to help with basic nutrition, right? It was the old school food pyramid, which I know it's flipped. We could talk about that all day. But food pyramid, calories, protein, carb, fat, micronutrients, zone 2 cardio, basic fundamentals. But I kept going back to the watering hole. Every chance I could get to talk to her, I wanted to know more. So eventually I said, well, what is this? You're a dietitian, but how do you become this? So she's like, well, you need to go back to school and you need to enroll, 4-year degree plus a post-grad internship and yada, yada, yada. Well, I
a little more involved.
Yeah, well, I was like, okay, well, I'm looking for it. So lo and behold, USL, it was in the process of changing to ULL at the time. So I went to USL for a little while, then ULL. But I found it. I found the curriculum, and I remember calling my mom. I said, "Mama, I'm coming home.
Coming home. Here I come."
I found something that sparked something. So moved back home, enrolled, finished up there, and that's how my story went as far as nutrition. I knew I always wanted to help people. I just didn't know at what capacity, where I could. And I thought about nursing, but that was not. The more I read up on it, I'm like, that's not tailored towards me. But there was a passion and a want to learn more about nutrition in the body and how we process things in the, just on a cellular level. I mean, I just wanted to know more and still want to know more. Yeah, I haven't learned everything there is to know. Yeah, and I think that's that's the great thing because I think in life we will never be truly satisfied, and I think that's something that should be pushing you and not holding you back. You should never, just because you're not satisfied, because if you were satisfied, what would be next? So in your faith journey, in your nutrition journey, in your fitness journey, it should never stop. Yeah. There's always new levels. Yep. And there's always an abundance. So I'm grateful for that and that drive and determination towards that.
Yeah, so. That's amazing. How did you end up, in oil and gas and nutrition? Because I know you're doing nutrition still. But there's kind of an overlap of your journey in a sense.
It's interesting. How all that led up is a lot of years, 20 years of stuff, and I don't know if we have enough time for the segment. But I'll sum it up this way: I was introduced into I was at Judy Sin for 20 plus years. Got out of Judy Sin. I went into another, it was more of a construction type sales. And I was laid off within 6 months of being there. And because I was laid off, I had a choice to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get up and make some calls or sit and lick my wounds,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So I made some calls, and within an hour and a half, I was in a coffee shop on an interview.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was on that interview, I had a friend of mine that was behind me that was like, hey, Justin, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right? So I was on a second interview. But at the end of the day, I was on 5 interviews.
Wow.
And it led me to where I am with STI today,
Mm-hmm.
which is very ironic because it's when I walked into there, it was one of my good friends from high school that we grew up together is actually one of the owners of the business. I didn't even know he owned it.
That's amazing.
And we walk in there, I'm like, what is this, a high school reunion, you know? And but little did I know that, you know, it would transform in other areas. And when I first got into oil and gas, what I knew of it from folks that would talk about it, I thought, you know, whatever. The salespeople are bringing boudin, cracklins, and they're going drink and this and that. And I was like, well, I said, is this what I'm going to have to do?
Right. To build business or whatever.
To build business or to be in the industry. Am I going to have to conform to that protocol? It's okay to go have a drink. I'm just saying, like, the excessive amounts of things. I thought I might have to go do things that I weren't necessarily on my list.
Yeah.
And over time, I saw that the nutrition thing was starting to, you know, the things I did, or whenever I went to eat with clients or prospects, you know, maybe get kind of laughed at a little bit for some of the food that I was eating, right?
Yep.
Then eventually, those folks started to eat. You know, they're like, "Hey, is that pretty good?"
Yeah.
So it was changing the I guess the MO of what I thought it could be.
Yeah.
You know, and even from a, you drop off some goodies or something. Well, maybe you drop off a little gift card, something, right? Because now you're thinking about their family. I don't need to take them out for after hours away from their family.
Yep.
Certain folks, but I'm like, but here's a little gift card for you and the family.
Yep.
To enjoy the weekend and your family. So, and then, just going to different events and people asking, hey, do you work out or do you do this or that? And I'm like, well, I'm actually a dietitian. And then they start to open up. Well, man, I have this and I have that. And what do you think about this? I have this condition or that condition, or I'm struggling with this. So it started to marry one another.
That's amazing.
And open those doors and channels. So it's been great. Met a lot of great folks. Still are meeting a lot. But no, it's been a great journey. Never would I have thought. But that's usually how it is. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Did you ever, when someone asks, "Hey, do you work out?" Do you ever just say, "No, I just for fun," just to get a laugh, or what?
No,
Okay.
I usually tell them. I say I kind of start out with I'm a cycling instructor, so that usually they know that I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And then we'll go further into it. I'm also I know a little bit about nutrition. I'm a dietitian.
Yeah.
And,
That's hilarious.
So no, it works. I'm licensed in Louisiana and Texas. I do have some other states that I have reciprocity with too, through a company that I work through in Fay. So I have actual. I can get to almost, I think it's 25 states. So from California to New York to Florida and in between. So it's been a blessing. Actually, we were talking about these doors that open with you and Dustin. That same week that I asked that question, when I was walking, I got the call from Fay, which opened me up to insurance.
Yep, I remember you saying that.
So it was 3 things back to back that opened up doors in that realm.
Yeah,
right.
That's
in
amazing.
The nutrition space. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now with doing what you do, what you love, from your family perspective, are they on board because they've seen you living in this way your whole life, or what's their feelings, their approach towards exercise, nutrition?
No, they're all about it. My son's doing his push-ups, My daughter does her little deal too. They all look very aware.
Yeah.
Do they do it on a level that's just no? They still do some things, but they recognize like when they do something or they eat something that I say is trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
They recognize it. I think awareness is the key. Yes, is it still going to be around them? It's still going to do, but their awareness, that self-reflection, they have it.
Yep. And that's what you need. That's what you want and driving for. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, we're all going to make mistakes, but can you stop and reflect on it?
Oh yeah.
And recognize what's going on.
I hear you. They say my oldest daughter, well, my only daughter, who's the oldest, she's very aware. You know, when was it? Sunday morning, getting breakfast ready before we go to church. She wanted to make a healthy charcuterie board, as she called it. So she, cut her some carrots. She did some cucumbers, avocado, and she's like, "Dad, is this healthy? Is this healthy?" But my boys, one's 2 years old, but Asher, my second one, he's not there yet. He's like a white and brown palate. Rices, crackers, breads, gravy. That's what he likes. Veggies, he will eat them if they're in a smoothie. But if it's on his plate, he won't touch it. And so we're wondering if it's maybe a texture thing, And so it's kind of interesting to see, same household, same dynamics, but just completely different.
It's a texture thing for a lot of them. Also a color, a lot of greens.
Yeah.
Kids, when they see green in something,
it
throws them off. My daughter, on the other hand, I could slice up tomatoes. I could probably give her a whole tomato. She'll probably eat it like an apple.
Yeah.
And she'll drink the juice out of the plate after. My son won't touch a tomato.
Yeah.
But they both have they do, carrots, broccoli, green beans. I could go, the list goes on, but they're more acclimated to it. Obviously I introduced it a lot earlier.
Right.
Fruits, like we roll with the fruits. And they're getting more and more, or they're getting closer to the fruits being the candy. They understand that.
Yeah.
That's the candy. And it can be the candy if you don't have the candy.
Right.
Because if you have the candy, it will be sweeter.
That's right.
It will be more enticing. It's going to, right? The high fructose
engineered
corn syrup.
for that.
Absolutely.
It's
The high
engineered for
fructose
that.
corn syrup, it will get you every time. But if you cleanse the palate and you slow it down with that consumption, that fruit becomes really sweet.
Oh, yeah. I remember I did it. I'm not sure if I shared this with you. I did a year of just whole food, plant-based. And the only time I ate meat in that year was 2 times, and there were hot dogs. I know, that's crazy. I could turn a steak down, but a hot dog, I know it's bad. Pray for me. But in that time, I didn't crave any meats. I was good with it. I was, nothing processed. I was, like you said, the palate was cleansed, and what I thoroughly enjoyed what I was eating. You know what I mean? Your body starts to crave those things, and it's very interesting how our bodies can adapt in that way. That's wild.
Well, then you give it enough time where the body starts to change, not just physically change, but internally change. So as far as gut health and, bloating and upset stomach and bowel movement frequency or all those things start to matter in the quality of life. And when you start connecting those dots, you never want to go away from it.
Yeah.
So, because feeling good is feeling good.
Yeah.
And then whenever you fall off again, it tells you real quick. The body reacts. It tells you a direct response. This is not good for me. Right. And it'll show you in ways that are ways you don't want to. Want to feel, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember years ago, I do Daniel fast regularly, over the years. And I would go on a 21-day, just vegetable, just Daniel fast. And then sometimes when coming off of it, I, do Papa John's back in the day or whatever. And to your point, immediately like, oh my gosh, I feel terrible. Right. Why do I keep doing this? It's like, why are we making these choices?
Well, it's just for the satisfaction of that. It's that rush. It's that dopamine hit. It's lighting up all the senses in the brain.
Yeah.
For that hit, but the after effect is what you're feeling there. And a lot of times, like even with like if you go and get a big hit of seed oils, et cetera, or high dose sugar or seed oils or both, you'll actually feel that even in your joints. You'll feel the inflammatory response. You'll feel it in your elbows, your shoulders, your knees.
Yeah.
You'll feel that inflammation in the whole body.
Wow. And when you say seed oils, because we hear that term thrown around a lot, what are you mainly referring to?
Just processed seed oils, and then even things that you wouldn't think of seed oils, vegetable oil, canola oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are like the worst, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Any processed oil.
Yeah.
Really. So be mindful of that. Olive oil is great. Avocado oil as well. We could go on and on.
Yeah.
But coconut oil too. Obviously, a lot of folks are using ghee and grass fed butter.
Yep.
All those things are great. But obviously, in limited amounts. I mean, calories in, calories out are evident. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's
regardless of what's going
happen.
in.
But but as far as the quality of fats, so be mindful of what you're putting in your body.
We could dive down deep on that, I'm sure, with wealth of knowledge. But I definitely want to get into a story that you had shared with me, with your son. I guess maybe 12 to 18 months ago. I don't remember.
It's actually it was about 10 months ago.
Okay.
That's about because he actually has a strength test this afternoon at 4:00.
All right,
that's so we're hoping exciting. He passes that one. But he's on his comeback. So we're about 10 months post-op.
Yeah, I'd love to, if you could dive into that journey a little bit, because I know it pushed you as a father.
Sure.
It drew y'all closer together as a family, pushed y'all in y'all's faith across the board.
Yep.
So I'd love if you could share a little bit of that from the beginning and how things unfolded.
Yep. No, so my son, big soccer player, loves it, right? I mean, obviously I loved it, so we would watch it together. We'd watch Premier League every weekend. So ever since he was a little bitty baby, we watched soccer every weekend. And I coached him. I coached a lot of, which was very rewarding. It was crazy because I was at that time with it. You're just trying to corral the kids. And, but he continued to excel, and we got to a place. He was doing competitive soccer and loving it, and we loved watching it. And one day in Mississippi, it was a freak accident. It was at the very end of the game, right before the whistle blew. He was going to trap the ball that was coming down, and a kid came from this blind side and ran right through his planted leg, his left leg it sheared right through it. And I could tell from where I was at, the pain that he was in. And his hands were, clenching the ground. I mean, he was pulling up earth.
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, this is not normal."
What sheared?
So it was his ACL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got him up. He started to stand up, and we saw that there was no. I mean, he couldn't stand up at all on it. I mean, even like just barely touched the ground. So we got him down, carried him off, and as I'm carrying him off, he's crying. He's like, "Dad, why this happened to me?" And I said, "Son, I don't know why this happened to you." I said, "But we've been preparing for this." And I put him in the car. We're in Mississippi. We headed back home. Tough dude, by the way. We didn't go to the hospital. We didn't know what he had at the time. We didn't know if it was just a sprain or, we knew it was somewhat serious, but we didn't know. Yeah. We didn't know if it was just a meniscus or if it was ACL or hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. But we drove all the way back from Mississippi, and as his pain started to subside, we did give him some ice. We gave him some ice, and we gave him some, anti-inflammatories and pain. We rotated. We didn't torture him, but he's tough. He comes to, and he remembered what I said, and he said, "Dad, what did you mean by we've been preparing for this?" And I said, "Well, you remember every morning on your way to school, we listen to something, faith-driven, inspirational, motivational, whatever it is." "Yes, sir." I said, "Well, we've been listening to everyone else's story." I'm like, "But this is your story. No, this is your journey. We've been preparing for this." I said, "I didn't think it would be this soon." I said, "But the Lord must have a plan for you that's different." So we went along, and we found out it was a torn ACL. And I mean, if anyone that's listening to this has children, the worst thing, whether it's sickness or whether it's an injury or whether it's whatever it is, right? you just want to take that from him. And it was devastating to us because it's like he's going to lose the thing he loves. And, you know, it's just he's young. Will he ever be able to play again at that level? And you start questioning all these things. And, you know, I had a friend of mine. I don't know if I reached out to him or he reached out to me because it's been a while now. It doesn't matter. We connected. And 3 months before that, his daughter experienced the same injury. Wow. And she's a few months older than Grayson. And her name's Olivia. And Seth Lahi is the friend. And I remember where I was. I was on Johnson Street. I was talking to him, and he was telling me, he said, "Man, look, we're here to support you." You know, he's kind of giving me the T's and C's of what's going to happen, what's going to go on. Yeah. And he said, "Man, look, I'm gonna, you know, I talked to Olivia about this story that you have, what you're about to go through, is something one day you'll be able to share and help somebody with." And that was it. He got to go home to her that evening and be like, "Hey, you remember Mr. Justin and Grayson? It just happened to Grayson." And first thing she said was, "You think I could help him?"
Wow.
So they,
wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, man, it gives me the chills, man. And
I mean, such a mature heart posture, you know what I mean? To want to give someone something, you know, she might not have had any help or someone, you know, go through that before, but since she went through it, and to want to help, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what's coming. It's okay, you know, to encourage someone else at 12 years old, 13 years old. I mean, that's awesome.
Right. No, and so they did. They connected, and you know, she kind of told them what was coming, what to expect. You know, they communicated in their own way. And of course, you know, Seth was there through the whole process too, guiding. Yeah. You know, showing me some light where there was darkness. And you know, it was amazing because that changed the whole frequency of where we were going. I mean, I knew that this was something that was part of his story. But it gave me perspective on, like, I'm going to get to spend more time with him. It's going to slow things down. We're not going to be as busy going to the parks. Right. We're going to be busier spending time with him in the rehabilitation.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it recalibrates you of what you knew, but it builds you up in a different type of way. And, you know, I was riding with my son a couple of weeks after, and he'd always mention in the mornings, man, I would love to be someone who could help others and speak and maybe be a speaker or motivational speaker, whatever it is. And I said, "You remember that?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Do you realize what it takes to be that?" And he said, "What?" I said, "This right here, what you're about to go through." I was like, "I've never been through it. Your mom's never been through it. Your sister's never been through it. You're about to go through it. And you're going to have a testimony. And you're going to be that testimony. We're going to go watch you. And we're going to learn some things from you. But it's also going to be your story whenever you have that first speaking event, whether it's one person, two people, 50, 100, 1,000. I said, your story's going to go like this. When I was 12 years old, I was on a soccer field. Yeah. Right? Wow. And blew out the knee. So, again, I guess the gravity of it is a lot of kids, including my own kids, and their identity is those things that they're in. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot of adults too. I mean, what they're doing, you know,
dance, cheerleading, you know, sports, you know, like soccer, baseball, football. I won't leave out anything, but I'm just saying that's your identity at a young, and if you're good at it, that becomes it. It revolves around that, and to take it away, which it will be taken away at some point, just like I told my son, the best athletes in the world is going to be stripped from you at some point. Right. I said, the Lord he showed it to you a little earlier. Beautiful thing for you is, I said, you get to go back stronger, not just physically, because we're going to build you up in a different way, but mentally and faithfully. And I said, what can we use right now to strengthen you, you know, while you're hurt? So what else is working on you? I always like to tell my clients that, you know, when they say they can't get to the gym because of, you know, my back or my shoulder, you know, like my dad always used to say when I said this hurt, "Oh man, it hurts when I do this." He said, "Well, don't do that." And
that's hilarious.
But you know, whenever it's hurting there, what else can we do with that energy? Yes, we can't do that specific exercise or that specific thing, but what else is working on you? And he went immediately to like, well, I got my arms.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know, you're thinking too superficial there.
Yeah.
Think deeper. You're in school right now, you can work on your grades. You can work on your schooling, right? And you can work on your faith, right? So those things were implemented, and it took a little while for him to gel that, but we saw the fruit of that as well.
Yeah.
So to see that growth and expansion and getting to watch him go through, just like Seth would tell me, you're gonna get to watch him go back to being almost like a baby again, right? Where you have to help him bathe, you have to help him go to the restroom,
Wow.
you have to help him put his clothes on, you have to help him do everything, eat, get everything for him.
Wow.
Then you get to watch him take his first step again.
Mm.
And that elation and that like he was just so proud of being able to take a step.
Wow.
And being able to go through that with him one more time, because that won't unlikely never happen again.
Mm.
So that moment and being able to see that, and again, Seth, I appreciate you shedding light on that, because I really took heed of that and held it tight.
Helps you kind of have that perspective instead
absolutely.
of like, oh man, I've got to go through this. I got to go help him do this. It almost helped position ahead of time. Like, hey, this is coming. Cherish it.
Yeah,
you know?
It was a blessing. It got us closer. It got him stronger. It got us stronger, right? As a family unit, you know. So, I'm so grateful. And again, it goes back to fellowship. We're talking about this. Another human being wanting to help another through a tragedy, or through a mishap that's affecting. But he could come and shed some light on it, and then use his daughter to be able to do it at that young age to help people. So it's about fellowship, and we talked about it in community and meeting people and helping one another. That's where it's at, and being able to see it at that level. So you plant those seeds in your children in hopes, you know, that it blossoms, and that I got to see that from both sides of the plate there.
That's amazing. What you know, like whenever that happened on the field, you know, and he says, Dad, why is this happening? And, you know, in your words, hey, I don't know why this is happening, but we've been preparing for this. What in that moment, if you can recall back, gave you that thought or that position of, hey, no, we've been prepping for this, to communicate that to him, you know?
The man upstairs.
Amen.
That just came out. But it was all the things that we had been doing, and I trusted that we were going to be all right.
Yeah.
And he had been listening to these things that were powerful to him, but until it actually, until you can actually go through it, it doesn't.
Right.
Like I'm just
go
saying,
through a trial. Hey,
but we've been listening. We've been listening. You like what happens. So what these folks are speaking about, or they're learning about, and then they're giving their testimonies. You like the end story of this. We all want the end story.
That's right.
Right? But there's no way you get there without the trials and tribulations and the setbacks and the crushing and the breaking.
That's right.
All those things to see the true fruit.
Yeah.
The perseverance and the faith and the trust.
Yeah, I would say some people say there's no testimony without a test, in a sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I just love that, you know, God spoke through you in that moment of like, hey, we've been preparing for this your whole life, you know, and then for him, like, what do you mean, Dad? But
yeah,
speak that.
That's a great, profound question, because I don't know what sparked me, because I was going through a chain of events. I'm holding my son in my arms. I'm running off the field.
Yeah.
You know, and to calm myself enough to, because I was in panic.
Oh yeah.
Like, my son's broken. Like, why?
Yeah.
But I'm like, we've been preparing for this.
Yeah. It was almost like it was at him, but it was for all of you, you know?
It was.
Like, hey, we're all been preparing for this, to go through this as a family.
No, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, and watching him on the other side of it right now. Again, we're doing a strength test today, so the timing is impeccable that we're talking about this, and he's going to do another strength test. but yeah, just seeing him grow up and going through this challenge, but having support and having friends also that like rallied around him, like the community and the friends at his school.
Yeah.
Amazing, right? Like yeah.
I love that, man. That's so cool. How, 10 months into it, sounds like he's doing better. From a mindset perspective, what's he kind of setting his sights on? Do you know? Have y'all had that conversation of like, hey, I want to be back in competitive soccer?
Oh, no.
What's all?
It's coming.
Yeah.
But he's been patient.
Yeah.
He's not trying to rush it.
That's
He understands. He doesn't want to go back because we've already started like rushing for what? I mean, you just turned 13.
All right.
I mean, you got a lot ahead of you. But mindset, man, he's definitely going through he's going through the stages, right? 12 to 13, he's becoming a little man.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of strength. I'm almost scared of maybe his strength that he's gotten, not from a physical standpoint, but like his emotional and his mindset.
Kind of the resilience.
Man, yeah. I'm excited to see him back on a field, but I'm also excited to see what he can do in his life moving forward. Because these are going to be the instrumental building blocks, not only for, say you go, if he wants to be a speaker, if he ever gets in front of a crowd, great, because that's something he spoke about. But even more importantly, the rock and foundation that he's building right now for his future family, for his future friends, for his future, right? Because he understands it. He's seen what other people did for him and helping him through it.
Yeah.
So he's ready to launch and help others as well.
That's great.
So that's like I said, whether he's in front of folks or whether he's in small groups of his own community and helping them in that way, I can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I'll encourage you also in a bit because, he went through this and you're excited to see how he helps people and, taking what people did for him in this season and replicating that and adding to it. But I'm sure he's also seen it in you as well from, the time that we've got to know each other. Like we've been talking about how people call you when they're in need of something and looking for a job or looking for advice or whatever. And he's seen that in you as well, so those seeds that you've been sowing also are, starting to bear fruit, and you'll get to watch some of that play out over the next few years, Yeah.
No, I think we talked about it. We touched on it earlier. We all have a light. Now, whether or not you uncovered it yet, right, is up to you and that communication, open your heart up. But we're all a vessel and we're all a light. Like wherever we are, wherever you think you need to be, you're actually right where you need to be in the current time. And you might think that you're not helping others, but like you are. And we got into the nutrition aspect of things. And whenever you can attach the nutrition aspect of what you're trying to do, because we're trying to lose weight or we're trying to gain more muscle or like super fit, like we're trying to look a certain type of way. But in that look, you're going to attract attention, right? In a positive way. What are you doing? What are you doing differently? What are you doing better? And I think that whenever you can tie those things together, and when you get those people closer to you, what do you do with those folks whenever you get them close to you? And that's where your influence can be, because we're all meant to influence in a positive way. I talked about it in the oil and gas thing, like in those spaces, whatever it was that you thought it is, you can change that with repetition and consistency. Will you get pushback? Absolutely, in some areas. But in your workspace and the things, like if you can help change the attitude and the I guess the arena that you're in, you can either conform to it, or you can be a game changer. So I encourage anyone listening to this to set some standards that are different, that are positive. Work on yourself, but understand it's not just about you. You're doing this to be a light to others, that you're doing something good. And then once you those people come to you, what do you do with that once they're there?
And that's spiritual,
Yes.
physical, emotional,
Yeah.
the whole.
Share it all.
That's right.
This gatekeeping stuff that people do even in business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to gatekeep this because if I protect this is what makes me unique. Don't gatekeep it. It's all out there. I mean, now guys with I'm just saying with ChatGPT, we could name all the AI functions. It's out there. So when you have something that somebody wants because for the better and greater good,
that's right.
Share it with them.
Yeah, I love people in the education space, on the podcasts, and they say, it's not a lack of information that's the problem these days. It's, accountability and execution is really what people are lacking or desiring for in a lot of instances. Because to your point with AI, hey, ChatGPT, do X, Y, Z for me, and boom, you've got 3 different ways and can change it and give you 5 additional ways if you want. But hey, are you going to do it? And are you going to execute?
Yeah, accountability for sure. Having those accountability partners in fitness, nutrition, faith, like you have to have them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a check-in.
That's right.
Somebody to, hey, a reminder.
Yep.
So no, again, this all falls back to it, but the nutrition aspect is deeper rooted. It's we've been doing these things for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The wrong way, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And if anyone that's still alive, they have to eat. You have to eat. So everybody knows how to eat food, but it's what types of food are we eating?
Yeah.
So everybody's a pro at consuming food.
That's right. Now, what I'd love to know your take on the flip of the pyramid. What are your thoughts on it?
I like it. I think that the big point that you should get from it though is eat real food.
I love it. Yep.
So limited ingredients or one ingredient, or it doesn't even list an ingredient. A banana's a banana.
Yeah.
Do you see a banana have an ingredient list?
No.
Orange?
Nope.
Apple?
Nada.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
I'm just throwing out a few things, but like it doesn't need an ingredient list. It is what it is.
Yep.
And it's come from the ground and the earth. And the earth that we, like I said, we're from, it's all part of it. Every nutrient and micronutrient is from the earth. We need all of them.
Mm-hmm.
All these micronutrients and these trace minerals, they all come from the earth. We need them because our engine runs on all of those things.
Yeah.
Right? So the bronchioles, right, in the lungs, right?
Yep.
When you look at it and you could pan it out, and then you look at a tree right now.
Mm-hmm.
Go outside and look at a tree and put them side by side. Okay? That tree, right, releases oxygen, takes in CO2.
Mm-hmm.
What do?
Same thing.
Flip, though.
Yep. Well, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a shared response. We are with
Mm-hmm.
the earth, and it's just like, so the things that are coming from is exactly what we need for function.
Yeah.
And, we get into the nutrition side of these things. I say this heavy, but it's true. It's so true. I mean, it was made in that, it's exactly.
Yeah.
And they flip and we work together.
Yeah. I like to call it a lot of people say intelligent design. You know, if you have one creator, you'll see his fingerprints and patterns across.
That's right.
A multitude of things.
We could keep going. There's so many other ones, right?
Yeah.
I could bring it up, but we won't go down the rabbit hole. But to that point, we need all of these things. And I think what we're missing too is a lot of these nutrients from the whole foods that we're missing out on. We're having to supplement, which is okay to a certain degree if we are missing certain elements, literally elements. But we need to, how should I put this? We need to focus on how our body is running, okay? So I encourage you guys to explore options when it comes to running your labs and understanding how your body works, because every system works with one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful design, but every system works together to perform a function.
All right.
Okay? So if we only look at a piece of the pie, I like to use this reference. If you had light bulbs flickering, you got little things going on in your house, and you keep changing the bulb, but like it's something electrical, something deeper. Okay, you keep changing out these things, but nothing. It's not correcting it. You hire an electrician to come to your house.
Right.
Let's just say it's me. You hire an electrician to come over. I ask you, can I see your panel, your electrical panel,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is maybe your blood work.
Right.
And then you show me your blood work, show me electrical panel, but half of the panel is covered.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, can I see the rest of it? Well, insurance maybe didn't cover it or they didn't know. I'm like, yeah, but I can change this wire. I can remove this, and this one's a little loose maybe, but maybe not a 15 amp. I'll put a 30 amp right here.
Right.
But can I see the rest? Because the rest actually is they're all working together.
Right.
So then you patch a few things and it might fix a couple of lights, but then you still have problems in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So where I'm going with this is, how are we running, right? Because you can eat all the food and this and that you want, or you change, you're going to have a change. So if you go from eating fried food to fruits and vegetables and lean protein, there's going to be a change.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be good. But what has been done prior to, that's your body's not optimal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So we need to understand how your body's actually working, because there's going to be a change when you change anything,
Right.
and you do it for a little while,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
right? But are you optimal? Is all the systems working appropriately?
Yeah. Do you do anything on like the hormone side, or, like, because I know, some folks, I'll say, holistic doctors and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, you also take, blood panels, but also the hormone side of things, because again, they all interact together, and,
Sure.
Certain hormones, whether it's testosterone, estrogen, et cetera, will control the, I'll say production or results on the blood side. And how do you work with that?
So
Again, total amateur over here. I'm just
all good.
asking random questions.
So I'm not a doctor, but I know quite a few of them. I have some great practitioners. The ones out there, y'all know this. I'm talking about y'all. Y'all are great. And the ones that I haven't met yet, I'd love to meet you.
There you go. There you go.
Because I want to work in synergy with you to help best facilitate the best results for your clients. So that's accountability, making sure that, because all the things and protocols that you're putting together, that they have the proper nutrition and stability there going forward. So any collaboration you want to reach out, I'm open to any and all options. What I've been doing as of late is I just rebranded. I'm working on a new program. So Spinal Nutrition is my original LLC. I just trademarked Human Rewired.
Awesome.
And it's going to be more of human performance longevity protocols, but it's going to be more of a teaching type program too, where we pull in strength training, VO2 max. We pull in RMR, so I'll look at your resting metabolic rate. I'll show you what zone 2 training looks like, but I'm going to be teaching you how these systems work, how the body works, and why it's important to nutrition. So it's going to be more of teaching.
Very
and then
cool.
whenever I get with you, we go back over it, what you didn't know or might have missed,
Mm-hmm.
or if you need to accelerate, and then how to implement. So what I do with that as well is I get them to order their own labs. So now with technology and all the things, you can actually get, so Function Health is the one I use right now, where you own your blood work, right? So there's doctors behind the scenes with Function Health to get these labs ordered, but you'll get 160 biomarkers.
Mm.
So when you bring me this 160, right, I can't diagnose anything that's on that list, but I can see where there's deficiencies, if it's nutritional deficiencies. And then I could also circle some things that I'm like, hey, this, and this, you need to bring this to so-and-so.
Yeah.
And I usually strategically partner with folks that I could put them on with. But even if they don't want to go to the partner that I maybe suggest, they can still bring these labs to their GP
Yeah.
or to their, right? So now they have they have the blueprint.
They have all the information.
They have all the information. So that there's nothing missing, because you want to have hormones, and they're not just testosterone and estrogen. You have thyroid, which is a hormone. So I'm just saying that you have all these things that are working with one another. And if you don't see all the pieces of all the sequence, then you're going to be missing it. And just like with thyroid, sometimes I just see a TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone. But without a T4 and a T3, I don't know the chain of events that's taking place.
Okay.
So even with the T4, how much of that are you converting to T3, which is your active form of thyroid? So if we don't know the full chain, we could be delivering more T4, but you're not a good converter. Why are you not a good converter? I mean, because it could be nutritionally.
Gotcha.
And if your cortisol levels are high, it's going to steal from your thyroid.
Yeah,
Right?
I've often heard a lot of some of the health podcasts listen to where they say a lot of doctors will treat a thyroid condition, but that's not even the root cause or, the genesis, that there's, to your point, other things going on that actually will influence those, which is why people don't see a change in results, or they get on this medication and it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, or whatever.
Right.
Very
Exactly right. And it goes back to these micronutrients and these trace minerals that are needed for conversion. So for instance, conversion of T4 to T3, you need selenium, iodine, and you need tyrosine. Okay. Now these three are also needed whenever you have higher cortisol levels.
Okay.
So if you have a limited amount of those to begin with, and or hardly any, very, very limited.
Right.
Well, cortisol is going to be more it's going to win.
Right.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So it's going to steal whatever you have. So if you don't have enough of that, you're not a good converter of T4 to T3.
Wow.
That's just one situation.
Yeah. Amongst.
Right. Because you have other inflammatory markers to deal with. Yeah. And then you talk about, B vitamin, whether you're not converting. So you have these gene mutations, whether you can't methylate and or you're not taking enough of it, can cause a rise in homocysteine levels. Rise in homocysteine levels are usually hidden. Nobody really checks for homocysteine levels, but it is an indicator, and it puts you at higher risk for cardiovascular disease.
Oh, wow.
Or strokes, heart attacks, you name it. But we don't even see those labs a lot of times.
Yeah.
So really, it's just uncovering, taking ownership. Like at the end of the day, this is your body, this is your health. They have, like I said, Function Health. There's some other ones out there as well. You'll get another, and also listen. There's a lot of great practitioners out there, but if it's not a good relationship, or it's just not a good fit, and you're not feeling it, they have other folks out there. And it's not saying anyone's bad or good, better, but go where you feel comfortable, where you're going to get the help that you need. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's your health.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
man, I appreciate you sharing that. We could dive deep on some nutrition stuff, because I'm an amateur at it, but very interested in it. But I always like to close out a podcast with 3 questions, the ABCs of the elevation room. So the A is, what advice would you give to your younger self? Gone through what you've been through, kind of looking back on the journey. What would you say?
I would say advice to my younger self. Anyone who knows me, I run pretty fast, and not physically. My mind, I used to have a little bit of speed, but not necessarily physically. But I like to go, like very, I say assertive, but driven, passionate. I can get loud. I get excited. Okay, and although that can be a strength, that can also be a weakness. And I wish that, if I could, I say wish, because I'm still old enough to be able to change some of these things. I'm doing it right now, and that's why I'm talking about it. I think that there's a phrase that keeps coming up so in my head, and it's actually and you're about to ask that, but slowing down to the speed of joy is what I would say. So slowing down to let things develop, versus going after them so strongly that you get ahead of where God is supposed to put you. He has it all mapped out for you. And slowing down to breathe it in and communicate, just like I did whenever I was walking that day. And I said, Lord, what do I need to do? Do I need to continue to pursue this? Dustin, Faye, right?
Yep.
I just showed you.
Yep.
You need to continue talking about this. You need to continue moving in that direction. So I think slowing down to the speed of joy, enjoy what's going on in your life right now.
Yeah.
And your expectations and disappointments doesn't define you. It's just what you've given yourself. Like, if you're not this, then you're not good enough. No, you need to enjoy where you're at in the space that you are right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a big Achilles heel for me. I've always wanted to try to get ahead of it. If I start to see something, I'm like, oh, I need to do more. I need to do more. Yes.
Yep.
Without pausing to say, hey, is this?
Oh yeah, I agree 100% with you. You know, there's been moments where I'm like, man, I could be doing this, and that, rather than, okay, hold on, I'm here right now in the moment with those, the family or whatever I'm doing. Like, let's be fully present in this moment and not just mind racing of what I could be doing or should be doing or would rather be doing, whatever the case may be. So I get that.
Yeah. So lean in on things, because if something came to you, you don't disregard it, and that's relationships, that's opportunities. Lean in, but don't break through the door.
Yeah.
Don't force it.
Don't force it. I love it.
Lean in, but don't break through it.
I love it. I love it. Well, then B is books that have made the greatest impact.
Greatest impact. So I'm not a book reader. Again,
Easy enough.
Shortest attention span. So I get into something, then I'm like, what they always say with people with those attention spans, squirrel, right?
Yeah,
so the book that just landed, and this is a whole nother story. We touched on it, but a man that I met, a gentleman in Albertsons, on Albertsons Parkway. Can I say this?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so, and there's a story that goes with it, but the most impactful one with me thus far. I was sent into Albertsons by my wife to pick up some tomato sauce.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm in there without a buggy, without a basket. And I look to my right, and there's a gentleman, older gentleman to the right of me, about 8 feet from me, doing the same thing. Looking into the shelf for that brand, that whatever it was he was looking for. And I found it funny. So I mentioned to him, I said, man, it's tough to make a decision when you have all these choices. And he laughed, and he said, can you say that one more time? And I said, yeah. I said, it's tough to make a decision when you have all these choices in front of you. And he said, son, you just shook me to my bones. I said, why is that, sir?
I mean, just totally random, right? I mean,
totally random. I never met this guy in my life.
That's amazing.
And he says, I've been working on a book for 10 years. 10 years. And he said, I just published it the other day. And he said, it's not even out yet. And he said, you know what the name of my book is? I said, what's that, sir? He said, there is only one choice. And the rest is history, folks. I'm telling you, this book was supposed to land in my hands, and it did land in my hands. And it opened up avenues and streams. And I suggest his name is Marcus Lewis. He's local, and he just wrote this book.
That's amazing.
And one of the first things he told me when he walked up to me, outside of the fact that the Holy Spirit hit us like a ton of bricks, he said, I have something on my heart to tell you. You need to go get a kneeler, and you need to find a place in your home where you could communicate with God. And he said, matter of fact, even better than that, he said, get a double kneeler. He said, so whenever you have an opportunity to bring your wife there, bring her there.
Wow.
And open up that channel, he said, because that's where this book came from.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I would say the most instrumental book thus far is that one.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I was handed another one that I'm in right now, and it is Slowing Down to the Speed of Joy by Matthew Kelly. And I'm in that one right now, and it is the exact season. I think you guys would get great benefit from it.
That's amazing.
I think it would speak to a lot of you guys and a lot of the folks that are watching.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go check those out.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
So then C, the last one. Oh, go ahead.
No, C, go. I'm
Yeah,
ready
cherished family traditions.
Oh man, this was a tough one. So you kind of mentioned that earlier, and I was thinking, and I think I was overthinking.
Okay, yeah.
Right? I mean, right? 'Cause
Easy to do.
You want to be like, man, I want to see something really cool that we do that's different maybe than everyone else. And I don't think it is different. It is sharing the moments on the way to school with my children, with K-Love or just a playlist, getting your day started right, with Christian music. And also in the evenings when we pray together before bed. But I also want to encourage you in this. Matter of fact, I'm going to reference John Tomasini.
Okay.
All right. So he was on the first podcast for Dustin.
Yes, that's right.
And when I was going through this, I told you about that week that I had that changed everything. Just recently, I was listening to his podcast. I was just going back through podcasts again. And he mentioned something about, imagine taking your wife, the people that you love and cherish the most, your wife, your kids, your loved ones, and you kiss them in the morning, but they come with you the rest of the day. They're in your vehicle. They go to every stop. They go to your business meetings. They go to the store with you. They go to the coffee shop with you. Right? They come home with you. Everything. You never introduced them. You never told them hello. You never kissed them again. You never leaned on them, asked them a question. And that's where God is all day long with us.
That's good.
He's sitting with us right now in this very room.
All right.
He's in your passenger seat. And all these things and these fears and this guilt or the shame of the things that you got, he's just ready to talk to you about it. And it spoke to me, man, because it put it in perspective.
That's so good.
Of like, how would my kids feel? Imagine they would feel they just want to be close to me. And I didn't even recognize them.
Yeah.
And it opened up my heart in a different way. Like I literally, when I heard that, I kind of looked over in the passenger seat and I'm like, he's here.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to reflect on that, to know that it's all day, every day. He's with you.
Yeah.
When it hits you hardest, he's there the closest. Right?
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Yeah, keep it on, man. I appreciate everything that you're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You know, every small encounter can create a snowball effect like no other, and this is part of it for you.
No.
So
I
may God bless you and everything that you're doing moving forward.
I appreciate it. I've enjoyed our time together. I appreciate you sharing, the stories that you did. And for those who want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, whether it's social media, whatever?
Social media, on Instagram, it's The Spin Dietitian, at The Spin Dietitian. You could also go to my website. It's www.spinonnutrition.com. I'm going to be updating that as well, but there's a way you can put on the last page for contact. You can put in your information, there's something about what you're looking for. Feel free to reach out there, or by email. It's justin@spinonnutrition.com.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Well, for everyone with us through this conversation, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember, no matter what you're going through, to stay rooted in purpose, living on purpose, and walking with purpose. Until next time. I appreciate you hanging with us through this episode of The Elevation Room. If this conversation spoke to you, be sure to hit follow so you don't miss what's next. And if you would, leave a quick rating or review. It helps more people find the stories that matter. See you next time.